I'm Susanna Berman Omach. This is my story of our family's trip from America to Russia from 1961 to 1962 when I was 11 years old. At that time, we were the only non-official family to be invited for a year to live in Moscow. With my parents, my two brothers, and my sister, we were bound for Russia, which is the title of this first video in a 5-part series. Welcome to the world through the eyes of an 11-year-old. Hi, Ayşegül.
Hi, Miss Susanna.
Tell me, how old are you?
I am 11 years old.
11 years old. Yes. I was just about your age when my father announced to the family that we would be spending a year in Moscow. This was in 1961, and in Moscow meant the Soviet Union, which was on the other side of the Iron Curtain. I had nightmares and sleepless nights dreaming how we were going to get under to the other side of the Iron Curtain, where everything was red and commies lived. The curtain looming above me from the outer galaxies to the end of my bed with that iron foreboding nature. My father brought home this record. He got it in Moscow. He put it on the record player, and at night, while I would be in bed, breathing heavily, I would hear this very deep and mysterious music, calling me from the other side of the world, luring me and opening my Pandora's box. I mean, we had Khrushchev, the Prime Minister of Russia, and Kennedy, our fearless president. It was Nikita Khrushchev who was pounding on the podium, "We will bury you!" And it was our beloved Kennedy with his little boy John under his desk in the White House, and our First Lady, Jacqueline Kennedy, in all her beauty. July 1961. And by August, we were on our way. Dad had the paper signed by Khrushchev, making sure we were welcomed. Oh yes, "С удовольствием," it said, which meant with pleasure.
Did you leave your house empty for the whole year?
Well, before we left, there was a debate as to whether to leave the house empty for the year or not. We lived in Newton Center, Massachusetts. Our house was grand, and we called it also the White House. I went with Dad, who found another professor at Harvard to rent the house. His name was Timothy Leary, and he had 2 kids, but no wife. I remember in the kitchen, Dad reassured Mom it would all be just fine. I was confused, and I would be even more so later. This story will be continued. I'll tell you what happened later.
How did you get to Moscow?
To Moscow. We went to New York, where we took an ocean liner and arrived in Cannes, France, where the Mediterranean turned into a turquoise blue, and the dolphins escorted us to shore. This was after passing through a huge gate, which was called the Rock of Gibraltar.
Did you go with your whole family?
Yes, my older brother, my younger brother, and my sister. My mom and all of us fit perfectly in the Volkswagen bus Dad picked up upon arriving in Cannes, France.
This was in August 1961?
That's right, Ayşegül. And you know, just as we were traveling through Munich, Prague and Warsaw to Moscow, East German soldiers were laying down more than 30 miles of barbed wire right through the heart of Berlin, preventing almost all such immigration.
Oh, the Berlin Wall.
Yes, just as we were on our way. Bound for Russia. That was the name of the newspaper article, Bound for Russia. The Boston Globe put our picture in the newspaper. And as you can see, everyone looked at the camera except me. I was looking at the far-off place they called Moscow.
What happened when you got to the Iron Curtain? What was it like?
Well, there in the back of our red and black Volkswagen bus, I nestled for the journey ahead to the Iron Curtain. The red Iron Curtain was looming before us when we arrived in the dark at the border. I knew it. My eyes were wide open. Dad got out and left us in the car as he strolled over to a small hut-like place in a dim light. He returned with some papers in his hands, and I noticed the soldiers. They were looking at me, but they weren't just looking at me with their Russian hats, youth, and uniforms. They were smiling. In fact, it was like they were dancing. So, it was with a jump and a kick the curtain was drawn, and all fantasies and fears evaporated as we drove on through the countryside, bound for Moscow.
Oh, so that was the Iron Curtain.
Well, for me it was.
So, just tell me, what happened when you got to Moscow?
Okay, dear one, but rest a bit, and soon we will be arriving in Moscow. That is, of course, if all goes well.
С удовольствием. С удовольствием. С удовольствием.